Alrighty. Okay. Hi, my name is Katie Dupuy and welcome to my parents' kitchen. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make raspberry macaron. So since the middle of March, I've been in quarantine at home with my lovely family, and I really got into baking. I've always been super into Great British Bake Off, and that's it. And that kind of spiraled out of control into watching all of these different people on YouTube make food. And I'm kind of doing a combination of two different recipes. I'll put the links in the description down below so you can follow along with me if you so choose. I have a bunch of ingredients out on the table, things ready to go, and I hope you're ready to explore this journey with me. First, I'm going to be using this scale to weigh out my dry ingredients in grams. I don't always do this. Sometimes I will use I don't always use grams, but I found with making these really delicate French cookies, it's really important to have super precise measurements if you can and if you have access to it. So first, I'm gonna go for 100 grams of almond flour. I think these cookies are really revered for being gluten-free, which is absolutely awesome. I'm not gluten-free, thank God, but these are just incredible to make and super duper fun. I've probably made 5 or 6 batches of these. So 100 grams of almond flour. Next, I'm grabbing 100 grams of powdered sugar. Powdered sugar for me, I just feel like I can play all day with it. I just love putting my finger in it. Oh my God, it's just so fun. Oh, I didn't wash my hands. Well, that's on me. I hope you enjoy me being a goof.
A few moments later.
I was so excited to do this that I forgot to sift my ingredients. So we're going to switch bowls and pretend like that didn't happen. Ooh. Now, the really nice thing about being home, I guess if you can call it like a blessing in disguise, is I'm still in school. In a dorm, I don't have access to a kitchen or anything. And it's really, really nice to be able to come home and like try out all of these new recipes that I've been wanting to for a long time. It's been a wild ride, to say the least. So as you can see in the bottom of my sifter, I still have a lot of stuff in there, but that's not the end of the world. I know that there's no lumps, no clumps, no little bits of almond flour left, so I'm just tossing it in there. And I've made a mess. The story of my life. Story of. So I've set my mixture aside for just 1 minute while I weigh out my 10 grams of freeze-dried strawberries. Ooh. Oh, they're like chips. So I'm weighing out 10 grams of freeze-dried strawberries. And because I'm not a fancy lady, despite what my apron may tell you, I don't have a mortar and pestle. I've been using the back of this ladle to just get in there and make it into powder. Sifter sifters, we're cheetah girls, cheetah sifters. I know that you can buy powdered versions of freeze-dried fruits, but this is all that I had available to me today. For the next step, I think the most classic feature of a French macaron is the little foot that it gets when it rises. So in order to achieve that awesome foot, not only will we have to rest our cookies before baking them, we also have to make a meringue. We'll actually be making a version of a Swiss meringue, which means that we are going to cook our egg whites and sugar very little over a double boiler here. So this double boiler has about 1 inch or 2 of water at the bottom of this really big pot. You want to make sure that the water does not touch the bottom of your bowl that goes on top. This allows for a really gentle cooking of our egg whites, otherwise you'll get scrambled cooked egg, and that's no fun. I'm going to weigh out 100 grams of egg whites. I'm a big one for forgetting how to minimize dish waste. As in, this dishwasher is empty and it will be full probably by the end of this. So try to be smarter. Work smarter, not harder, kids. I found that when you use the egg whites of roughly 3 large eggs, it gives you about 100 grams. I've definitely seen other methods of this too. You can certainly empty the egg right into your hand. Now we're adding 100 grams of granulated sugar to our egg white. Girl, she lumpy. We're gonna make sure that the water starts to simmer before we put this on. That way our eggs can stay at an even cooking temperature throughout. I'm gonna go ahead and start heating our... This is called a bain-marie. So I'll continue to whisk until I make sure that there's no sugar crystals left in the egg white. We want the sugar to be totally dissolved. Now, after our sugar is dissolved and our egg whites are heated, we are going to go ahead and whip it in our KitchenAid with the whipper setting, the whippy whip thing. Not only can you use your eyes to see if the sugar is melting into your egg whites, you can also pick up a little strand, grab some on your finger, and when you rub it in between your forefinger and thumb, I can definitely feel the sugar grains, and we know that it's not ready. Woo, it's hot. It feels good to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the heat and bring this mixture and pour it into my KitchenAid. Woo, there we go. Really crucial that we don't over whip this. So if you're getting a little nervous, stop around 3 minutes or so to check for the stiffness. We're really looking for some stiff, nice, glossy peaks in these egg whites. And we whip. I'm also going to add a dash of cream of tartar. That helps the meringue hold its glossiness and stiffness. But this is looking really good. I'm gonna give it maybe 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. It is always better to underwhip than to overwhip your meringue. The worst case is we can always start again. Now that that's done, I'm going to remove my bowl from the base and add in my dry mixture. Now this is super crucial, folding in my wet mixture with my dry mixture. I'm going to take my spatula, scrape the exterior of the bowl all the way around, and flick it down the middle. We want to go very gently here. We worked really hard to get all of that air into our egg whites, and it would be a really darn shame if we kicked it all out right now. Now, I want to keep doing folds like this until I'm able to draw 1 or 2 figure eights with the batter. You really want to go slowly and carefully because overmixing at this step is so unfortunate. So now that that's ready to go, I have a little piping bag in here in a glass. I find that sometimes helps to stabilize the bag. Let me grab my baking sheets. I lined these sheets with parchment paper. I'm not sure how many we'll be able to get out. It depends on how liberally I make my little macaron. I'm gonna work really quickly to scrape my mixture. I would also recommend for the first few times, drawing out some circles on your parchment paper so you have a rough idea of the shape and size of each cookie. We don't want them to be all irregular shapes, otherwise you won't have tops that match bottoms. I usually try to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Pick it up and move on to the next spot. Really don't want to place them super close to each other because they do spread a lot. You want to make sure that there aren't any little noses like the one that I just made, just because it'll burn. They'll be super delicate once they come out of the oven, so you really won't be able to fix it after the fact. Listen, I'm not saying this is probably the best looking one I've made so far, but it's the best looking one I've made so far. Oh my God, these are gonna be a little cute as a button. So I'm gonna go in with just a finger and my towel and clean up this excess on my cookies. Cause I ain't a perfect piper, you know what I'm saying? This is arguably the most crucial part of baking your macarons. All of those air bubbles have created some air pockets into our cookies, so we need to bang them the heck out of there. When I say give it some taps, give it some freaking taps. And as I do this, I can see air bubbles popping. They're coming up to the surface. Ooh, I love a rainy night. Awesome. I'm like really proud so far. Now that we've piped our macarons, we have to let them rest for about 30 to 45 minutes. The amount of time that they need to rest will depend on a bunch of different factors. How warm it is in your kitchen, what is the humidity? So you really just have to do it by touch. Check to make sure that there's a skin. See you soon. Interlude. Now these are our beautifully rested macarons. Look at them. Aren't they stunning? I'm really proud. This one obviously didn't have the most even layout when I piped them, but I'm still proud. Let's talk about baking these bad boys. Baking our macarons is also a little bit precarious. They bake from anywhere from 12 to 16 minutes. Ours will probably be more in the 12-minute range since they're so small. Bigger ones usually take about 16, and we're going to stop every 4 minutes to rotate our tray. This ensures an even baking throughout. I would also recommend that you do one tray at a time unless you're able to fit both trays on the same oven rack. I know in my oven, the temperature on the top shelf varies greatly from the temperature from even the middle and the bottom shelf. So that's why, to get the most consistency, we always bake them on the same shelf. All right, it's time. Here we go. Alrighty. Start the clock for 4 minutes. It's actually been 3 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and do the first turn on our macarons. I have my oven mitt, and I'm just going to turn this tray one to the right. So now that our macarons are baked, we're going to make our buttercream frosting. So first I have milk, powdered sugar, vanilla, salt, and butter. I'm really just using rough measurements here, kind of going by eye and by taste of what needs what. So I'm cutting up my butter into little tablespoon chunks into the bowl. I don't know how much of this. Oh! Probably a cup of powdered sugar. That's exactly what I meant to do. A little bit of milk, vanilla, and salt. Let's hope this works out. Oh my God. I don't want to toot my own horn, but that worked out pretty well. Give it a taste. Oh, that's so good. So now it's time to fill our macarons. I know that there are a lot of people that prefer to use a piping bag. Because I'm not using a particularly special recipe, I'm not going to be piping it. I'm just gonna use this butter knife to spoon it on. We're going to pair up equal sized cookies to make our little macaron sandwich. This is the fun part, I think. And you honestly don't need that much filling. I'm using maybe half a tablespoon in this one. So I just twist them together on the side. And there is a strawberry buttercream macaron. There we have it. Let's give them, that's rude. Let's give them a try. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I could eat all these right now. I could. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and follow me on my personal and baking Instagram. You might just see Rue there. This is Rue. He loves this, I swear. I'd be super excited to see what you make, and happy baking. Thank you.